Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ravi Shankar Tandavan, and I'm a proud founding member of the Forum of Critical Utility Services, Chairman for Policy and Advocacy, and your MC this evening. These are times when we embark upon almost everything in a slightly different way, and it is somehow called the new normal. Much as we would like to have a physical gathering, we thought it is best to be safe and wait, hopefully, just a little while longer while we can once again physically meet, shake hands, slap our backs, and greet each other. At this time, I think it is only appropriate that we make a promise to ourselves that we shall be responsible citizens and not become a cause for the spread of COVID-19. And now, without much ado, let me take you through the program. Firstly, we will have the Focus Bengaluru chapter launch in the gracious presence of our President, Mr. V. Suresh, our General Secretary, Mr. A.L. Narasimhan, Vice Presidents of Focus, founding members, management and governing council members. We also have our Regional Director, Mr. K.P. Dominic, who has ably supported, toiled for the formation, and steered the committee and brought it to this stage when we are to launch the Focus Bengaluru chapter. It is indeed a delight and honor as well for us at Focus to have Shri Gaurav Gupta ji, IAS, an IITian and a bureaucrat, who has consented to be our chief guest this evening. We are also honored and humbled by the presence of our guest of honor, the eminent architect Shri Naresh Narasimhan, who will be making a very interesting presentation on the topic, Bad to Best, Public Utilities and Challenges of City Infrastructure. The program will come to a close at around 5:30 p.m. Anyway, as part of our culture and tradition, we light a lamp before the start of any event. This indicates the dispelling of darkness through the light of knowledge. So here we go with the lighting of the lamp and a small prayer. After having had a very auspicious beginning to this evening's program, may we have the focus video, please? While the team sets up the video and patches it to the image screen, I just want to let you know that this short video best describes the objective of Focus. The video captures the sentiment of our resolve to bring together all the verticals of the construction industries, critical utility services, so we can together aid in the progress of nation building in our own little way. We are strong because we are one. The focus video, please.
As the sun rises and shines in glory, so have emerged the fortunes for the Indian construction industry in particular, and the global community in general, for a stronger, cohesive, and focused future that is as bright as the rising sun. Each of the bodies leading the various verticals of the building industry's critical utilities services sector have been working towards delivering their best towards building reliable, resilient, and sustainable structures. With the emergence of Focus, the Forum of Critical Utility Services, all these bodies will now join hands to spearhead and deliver not just reliable and resilient structures, but structures that are now even more reliable, resilient, efficient, sustainable, coordinated, and thus delivering an integrated built environment. Most often nature and at times this cruel world teaches us the importance and value of resilience, sustainability, and performance of the critical utility services in a building. The deluge in Mumbai, Chennai, and Kerala brought the arrogant mankind onto its knees. Irrespective of the type of disaster, be it the tsunami, the COVID-19 pandemic, the power grid failures, or even a bomb scare, all these constantly seem to direct our attention for the need to strengthening our coordination. We therefore must channelize our energies for a common goal that shall make it possible for us to deliver structures that can stand majestically, offering a safe and conducive living environment even under such exigencies. While we are preparing to cope with the deluge of these adversities, there are yet other challenges being presented to mankind. These are as a result of our unkind acts of neglect and indifference towards nature. It is being said that in the future wars could be fought for water and even air. It is indeed true that we are striving towards delivering more and more projects that are self-sustainable. With all your support to focus, we now can identify lacunas, actively deliberate, support each other in our combat against odds on our paths, sensitize and represent appropriately to authorities, so we are able to give back more than we draw from Mother Earth. At the end of it all, the objective and our core philosophy and principle is to deliver to our customer not just a building, but a monument that should stand the test of adversities in the times to come. Is it not our responsibility towards our future generations to leave behind a planet that is thriving? Of course it is. And for this, all that we need to do is to be in sync with the way nature works. Our cry, therefore, is come one, come all, in our efforts to strengthen, streamline, sensitize, and secure a world that we can leave behind for posterity to cherish.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for it is with a sense of pride and honor that I now call upon the President of the Forum of Critical Utility Services, Mr. V. Suresh, the doyen of the construction industry. Mr. V. Suresh is a civil engineer from the College of Engineering, Guindy, Anna University. He has over 55 years of experience in the housing, urban development, real estate, and sustainable development sectors. He has been active on the BIS national codes and standards, including National Building Code, on which he is associated for all the versions, covering all facets of integrated development. He had an illustrious innings at HUDCO, where he retired as the chairman and managing director, where during his tenure, HUDCO had a 360-degree growth. He is passionate and known around the world for his unflinching and strong support of safe and sustainable development. He is also chairman of the IGBC. He was the past president of NAREDCO and Indian Buildings Congress. He has received numerous awards and recognition, including the doyen of the construction industry by CIDC. And he is now our president of the Forum of Critical Utility Services, FOCUS. I have immense pleasure in inviting Sri V. Suresh to deliver his presidential address. Mr. Suresh, to you, sir.
Very happy good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Such a great pleasure to participate in this program for the launch of the Forum of Critical Utility Services Bangalore chapter, the first chapter launch of the FOCUS. FOCUS was born not too early. It was on October 26th that FOCUS was launched all over the country. It has received immense support from all over the country, and in a short time of less than 45 days, we are having the launch of chapters, and the first one being at Bangalore. But before I talk more, let me first greet the gracious presence of Gaurav Gupta ji, who's the Principal Secretary to Government for Industry, Commerce, and we are so happy that he could come over and find time and to be with us and give his blessing. And the greatest pleasure of association with Gaurav Gupta ji during my earlier part of career, and he's equally a person who is a name which is known for making all the impact in whichever sector he has worked on. And we are very happy that he is here today evening with us, and I'm sure we'll be able to hear from him. We are also equally happy to have the presence of architect and urban designer Naresh Narasimhan, who will be making the special address today evening after the inaugural address by Gaurav Gupta ji. And we are equally glad to have all the distinguished participants, all the members of the Management Council, Development Council, and the Governing Council members of the Forum of Critical Utility Services, and focus as briefly told in the video there. Sir, just to indicate that the whole building construction sector is contributing substantially to the GDP level, and this is a component which is contributing to over about 8 to 9% of the GDP, leaving out the infrastructure construction component of other areas like the roads and the highways and all that. But if you deal only with the building construction, it contributes a large, not only to the economic development, but also all the needs of all asset classes of the buildings there, be it the residential building or the commercial building or the industrial building or the healthcare buildings, as well as hospitality or education buildings, whichever that you want to take. They also contribute substantially for the as engines of growth to provide for all the spaces for the job creation as well as service creation in a large way. And in the whole component of the building development sector, contribution of architects, engineers, structural engineers, builders, and regulators play an important one. An equally important component is, at the end of the day, that brings life to the building, namely the one that can give water, the sanitation component, as well as the plumbing level, including the fire safety and firefighting level, air conditioning installation, lift installation, as well as the issues related to other services, security and safety of the buildings, equally an important component of those buildings over there. There are consultants who are working in this sector: mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting, communications, safety, security, landscaping. All of them work together with this team as a team. While each one of them excellence doing well individually, collectively in a coordinated, integrated manner, all have to get the talmail together to work together to make the impact as far as building is concerned. And at the end of the day, in the planning design stages, construction stages, installation stages, completion, and most importantly, commissioning stages and occupancy stages, they got to perform. Now, performance of all this becomes an important one. Therefore, assets and facility management, people come at the important level at that point of time. Namely, how do you ensure that everything works when you want it? 1 year down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, how are you able to ensure that works over there? So therefore, it's a meeting of all the concerned stakeholders dealing with the creation of the built environment, and you bring on that sustainability and energy efficiency, as well as the water efficiency, waste management efficiency, as well as no wastages to come in the sector, and bring in economies of scale also in a large way. So got to do it efficiently, economically, as well as expeditiously. So these are important components where all put their act together. There are separate regulators to deal with that. Not only we are very happy that Gaurav Gupta ji is also the administrator for BBMP, like that the municipal corporation, the lift inspectorate, electric inspectorate, chief fire officer, more than so many other regulators come in this particular picture. So ensuring that the right laws, the building rules and safety rules and fire rules, as well as electricity rules, etc., are also followed in a right way. And forum therefore gears up to deal with that particular thing in a large way. Today, this is not the time for me to talk much because it's a welcome address, and I'm very happy that both Gaurav Gupta ji will add on additional dimension in addition to sectors. So I just thought I'll indicate industrial development is also a very important component. Industrial buildings and townships are also an important component in our work area, and we would like to work together in this particular sector. And since you head the BBMP as one of the leading municipal corporations dealing with all the building construction development, all we are trying to do is to join along with you to see how we create sustainable, safe, smart, built environment which will finally create the best quality environment, not only for the city, but also for the citizens at large. Thank you very much for your gracious participation. And I'm sure with the launch of the chapter under the leadership of Madam Jayalakshmi as well as Prasad as co-chair, we'll be having a wonderful team. They've got a very young team. Bangalore chapter will take this program forward because we identified 21 verticals to deal with the various development groups. Bangalore chapter also will have those one to deal with those. Each one of the segment I just talked about to see that they bring the right value for the building products in a large way. And I'm sure they'll do. I want to wish them also all the very best for the membership to drive, activities to come on, take on things which will be done along with the government of Karnataka and all the agencies and also all the stakeholders dealing with the sector, consultants as well as industry providers in the company, in the area of work. And with that, once again, I want to offer very best wishes and thank you for giving the opportunity, Ravi, to open out.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh. Thank you very much for the broad outlook on the role of focus and for your support and guidance at every step in this formation and launch process, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, really. Thank you very much. I thank Shri Gaurav Gupta ji for his precious time, and we will call upon him to address right after the chairperson of Bangalore chapter, Srimati Jayalakshmi Venkatanarayanan addresses. I'm delighted to introduce this wonder woman and a giant of a personality. Srimati Jayalakshmi Venkatanarayanan is the founder and proprietor of Universe Power Systems. Her educational background is in electronics and telecommunication engineering. She is also a qualified teacher, trained dancer, choreographer, and a Carnatic singer. Universe Power Systems has expanded its services to include total power solutions, including end-to-end setup of power, automation, precision cooling solutions for data centers and clean rooms, and green power solutions for large buildings. Jayalakshmi is also the founder of Universe Business Solutions, where she dons the role of a growth consultant for both emerging and established entrepreneurs, designing and offering workshops on business continuity and growth, and on leveraging MSME schemes of the government. Jayalakshmi founded and heads her own CSR initiative, Universe Art Foundation, since 2012, which helps artists pursuing traditional Indian art forms. Jayalakshmi is the only women business partner for Emerson Vertiv for 23 years. She was awarded the Rashtriya Ratan Award by the Global Economic Council for exceptional achievements in business. In 2009, she was selected as Women Entrepreneurs across the world by Goldman Sachs. In 2012, she received the Mother Teresa Excellence Award. She also received the Shrama Sadhana Award by Abhinandana. She became the first woman vice president of the Association for Information Technology, AIT, and vice president for FIT DAK, the Karnataka IT Association. She was also selected among the 25 most influential women by CEO magazine in 2017 and the top 10 IT Durgas of India by Cyber Media DQ Week. She also received the Power Woman of the Year award from the Indian Affairs in 2019. I'm personally pleased, and my associates in the Forum of Critical Utility Services are delighted to welcome Ms. Jayalakshmi Venkatanarayanan to take the position of Chairperson of Focus Bengaluru. I now request Ms. Jayalakshmi to address the audience and introduce her team at Focus Bengaluru to the audience and our chief guest, Gaurav Gupta ji, and our guest of honor, Architect Naresh Narasimhan. Over to you, Madam.
Yeah. Madam is there? Very glitch?
Yeah, 1 second. So, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ನಮ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಿರೋರು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮ್ದು ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to all of you and welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Gaurav Gupta, IAS, and our keynote speaker, architect Mr. Naresh Narasimhan. It's my privilege and it is my pleasure to talk in front of you about the prestigious forum focus. It is on forum on critical utility services. Really, I'm proud to be the chairman for this. And we have a very clear mission and vision where we are going to reach out to the, along with the members. And why focus? Just a very small glance I just thought of giving. Focus has the aim to be a single largest common core, and it is basically a platform to build a built-in environment sector we want to build in, and we help the sectors to develop sustainability, build capability, developing human resources and skills towards and sustaining the excellence to become a partner in growth of Indian economy, to work for a common good for clients, customers, owners, occupiers, for improving overall quality of the occupiers for the buildings. Basically, we are the main people, those who are owns, those who can give the critical utility services. And I want to inform that we have so many verticals like veterans, those who are members here, and we have electrical, plumbing, HVAC, safety, fire protection, security, elevators, power utility services, IBMS, IT, integrated design and architecture, project management, sustainability, renewable energy, policy and advocacy, lighting and illumination, solid waste management, structural flexibility, marketing and creative, interior space, finance, energy conservation, asset and facility management, building automation systems. So we have each and every verticals here. We give the right solution at the right time, and our members, we have people like design who can execute, and sustainability audit who can do the audits in various aspects, and consultation. We have experts in all these verticals as members, and we are expecting members in these particular verticals. And expectation from the members, as we when we send out these invitations, basically what the members are expecting from us is to find the solution day to day challenges, whatever they are having, they want to find the solution here. And members would like to scale up their business by networking, knowledge sharing, education, participation in expos, and sourcing of funding and vendor development programs and mentoring. And what we are planning here in Bangalore, we expect large corporate government organizations like BBMP, hotels, hospitals, manufacturing industries, pharma to come forward to utilize our members' expertise and products and services and make their buildings environment safe and secure. We wish to work closely with the DIC, the Department of Industries and Commerce, and then our Gupta ji is here on projects and executions. We want to work as a team, and we expect to do programs on alert sharing through MSME development institutes, stalls in expos through NSICs and delegations. We at Focus can set up a clusters in future and take projects as a team. Create awareness on government schemes, benefit of being a MSME and leveraging the same. And finally, critical utility services is not just a facility or option. It is a foundation and basic for each and every industry. I think everybody will accept this. And so let us all join together and make our industries more sustainable and give our clients a safe and secure environment. And most of the points, whatever I wanted to cover, Mr. Suresh has covered a lot of points. And with this, actually, I request Ravi to call upon Mr. Gaurav Gupta, our chief guest. So after his talk, and we will introduce our team, and we will go ahead with the rest of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jayalakshmi Venkat Narayanan, for the quick, presenting of your blueprint for Focus Bangalore chapter. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gupta ji, even amidst your very busy schedule and on a Monday, we are sincerely in gratitude and thank you, sir, for your obvious interest, dedication, and involvement that you have so kindly demonstrated by your presence and sat through this launch event, sir. Thank you very much. I have the honor of introducing Sri Gaurav Gupta ji. Mr. Gaurav Gupta is the Principal Secretary of Commerce and Industry in the Government of Karnataka, in charge of promoting investments and industrial development in the state. In addition to his current role, he has been recently appointed as the administrator of the Bruhan Bengaluru Mahanagarapalike, in short BBMP, an administrative body responsible for providing civil amenities and some infrastructure assets of greater Bengaluru metropolitan area. Over the past 30 years in Indian administrative service, he has served in the fields of commerce and industries, infrastructure, power, and urban development. Prior to his current role, Mr. Gupta served as Principal Secretary in the Department of Information Technology from 2017 to 2019, where he simulated a number of initiatives to take up innovation, research, and growth of startups, establishing Bengaluru as the global technology hub. A graduate from IIT Kanpur in electrical engineering and postgraduate from IIT Delhi, Mr. Gupta has been conferred the Distinguished Alumnus Award by IIT Kanpur in recognition of his achievements of exceptional merit in 2010. He attended a program in public and finance management at the Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University in 2005, leadership program at the Lee Kuan Yew School, popularly known as the LKY School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore in 2012. And recently in 2018, attended a program in the University of California at Berkeley on negotiations for leaders. There are no mean achievements, and we are indeed proud of these immense qualifications our technocrat Sri Gaurav Gupta ji holds. A very warm welcome to you, sir. It is truly our honor and good fortune to have you among us this evening. We sincerely thank Sri Rupesh Iyengar ji for facilitating Sri Gaurav Gupta ji's presence this evening. We now request you to address the audience and give your valuable words of encouragement to us at the Forum of Critical Utility Services, and in particular, sir, to focus Bengaluru chapter and its leaders. Thank you, sir. Sri Gaurav Gupta ji for you.
Good evening, all. It's my privilege to be addressing a forum like the Focus and at the launch of the Bangalore chapter of the Focus, and to be addressing very prominent people from different walks of life, like Mr. V. Suresh, whom I recall very fondly as CMD of HUDCO about 15 years back. Also, Mr. Rupesh Iyengar, who has also reached out to me earlier, inviting me to this program today. And also my felicitations to Mr. Ravi Shankar and also to Mrs. Jayalakshmi. Mrs. Jayalakshmi having become the chairman of the Bangalore chapter of Focus. So Focus, as I see it, as I have been told, is emerging as a common platform for all building design and services industry and construction industry to come together as a single forum and to discuss all the matters relating to planning, design, construction, maintenance, and operations in the construction industry. And also brings together all the stakeholders in the National Building Code under a single umbrella, and to engage with the government and to act as a liaison between the industry and the government. Now, we are very proud to see a single umbrella organization which is handling all these responsibilities. So far, we have been engaging with various organizations like CREDAI and several others over the period of time. And let me assure you, having put in almost 30 years in the state government, that the state government is pretty open to interacting with the civic society with the professional organizations and listening and hearing you so as to identify your pain points and to see how trade, industry, and business can be supported and they can be allowed to flourish in the land of Karnataka. In respect of this, the government of Karnataka has been committed to make it easier for you all to do business. And yes, there are pain points. I know I have been interacting with number of people across the business interest. And a few of the things that we have been working on is to see how there can be a single portal through which you can get your building plan sanction, you can get your trade licenses, you can get your any kind of clearances, including fire and water and electricity and all that. So these are objectives which we hold as commerce industries, very dear to our heart, making a single window portal, and we are working on it with the support of different departments and organizations at the state level, but also within the BBMP, of which I have been put as administrator after the term of the elected body expired. And at that also we are trying to see now how the new online building plan sanction system comes up. I have been told it has been working well. There may be some hiccups. What I will request all of you is please explore the possibility of doing business online. We have also been trying to ban the physical transaction in any walks of life. It has been done progressively, even for conversion of land, change of land use, and such other things, etc. We are trying to see how this can be done online. Several of them have been done already. A number of them are in the pipeline. So what I will request is that you all should emerge as our eyes and ears to see how processes can be made simple, they can be made online, they can be made absolutely contactless, cashless, etc. And this is what our goal and objective has been, and I would request the industry partners to support us in that. In respect of this, uh, uh, do let us know further. There are common application forms which have been prepared, and to integrate all the NOC related, etc. I've been told earlier that there are some 30 NOCs required for building plan sanction. We have been told that for land conversion or change of land use, again 20 to 30 things are required. So what we are doing is threefold. One is to provide all services online with online payment also. The second thing is to provide it within a time-bound manner stipulated by the Sakala Act, which is the Citizen Timely Delivery of Citizen Services Act. And also, thirdly, reduce the compliance requirement in terms of documents required and things like that. So beside that, the government is also working to see how redundant act, rules, and procedures can be reduced. And it should not be necessary for you to, run around for compliances, for records, for filings, for returns, etc., etc. And I would seriously implore all of you to let us know if there is anything that can be made simplified and that can be made even more user friendly as compared to what it is. At Bangalore level, let me talk about Bangalore. One of the interest and focus that we have is to see how this city, which is the fourth largest technology cluster in the world, is able to cope up with the kind of rapid growth it has seen over the last few decades. It may be about how we can make commuting easier and faster. It may be about how we can make green lung spaces. It could be how we can make it more cleaner and and user friendly. It could be how we can connect the citizens to the local body and to the ethos of the land here in Karnataka and of the city of Bangalore, the culture. So I would request that all of us should work together on this. ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಾತನಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಹಕರಿಸಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತರದ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಂಡಲದ ಸದಸ್ಯಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ತಾವುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀಡಿರುವ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಲೋಪದೋಷಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತರಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೇ ಹಳೆ ಕಾಯ್ದೆಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಏನಾದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತಂದು ಅದನ್ನು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ಲಿ. ಕ್ರೆಡೈ ಅಂತ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇನ್ನಿತರ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. ನಾನು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಮೆಸ್ಕಾಮ್ ಅಂತಹ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. KSRTC ಅಂತಹ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಹಿಂದೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕ್ರಮೇಣ ಸರಳೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಸರಿಪಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಹಕರಿಸಬೇಕು. ತಮ್ಮಂತಹ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇನ್ನ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ಲಿ. ತಮ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಬರುವ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ constituent organizations, all your constituent organizations, I would request that they should become your members. They should be here. They should be working with you together. We should not have the need of addressing 20 different organizations. But again, that's a lofty goal. I hope with the leading towering personality of Mr. V. Suresh, all of you will get together nationwide, and also with the leadership of Mrs. Jayalakshmi at the Bangalore chapter, and look forward to a very vibrant and very active and dynamic organization of focus in Bangalore. Thank you and wish you all the best.
Dhanyawada and Tumpa Santosha Gupta ji. Thank you. Thank you very much for the confidence on us and your words of encouragement to Focus, sir. And in particular to Ms. Jayalakshmi Venkatranarayanan and her team at Focus Bengaluru. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your guidance. And thank you for offering your unflinching support in bringing several other government departments to work with Focus, sir. Thank you. I think that's a very, very magnanimous statement from you there, sir. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you very much for your address, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Now I request...
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Some would like to stay some more time. Gaurav, you would like to stay a little more time or check with him?
Sir, Shri Gaurav Gupta ji, would you like to stay on for some more time, or how is it, sir?
No, I think he has logged out, sir. He had told me he would come in for about half an hour.
So let's
we totally appreciate that. I mean, for him to give us, such valuable time on a Monday afternoon is extremely appreciable. Thank you once again, Rupesh Iyengar ji, for your support there. And now may I request...
I think we can follow up with him later.
And he has given 45 minutes of his time, even though originally it was 15 minutes.
That's
We should be very grateful to him. Thank you.
We will follow up with him, sir, from the Bangalore chapter.
Yes.
I now request Srimati Jayalakshmi Venkatranarayanan, the chairperson of Focus Bengaluru, to introduce her team of firebrand professionals who will be ably guiding her, aiding her in discharging her duties and work towards strengthening of Focus in Bengaluru. Ms. Jayalakshmi.
So, namaskara once again. Good evening.
Namaskara,
And,
madam.
very happy that the chapter has been launched, and we had a very distinguished chief guest, and then we have a very good speaker, and we have our president, Mr. Suresh here, and we have so many people present here with all the associations, and we have a lot of support. When we just roll out this particular invitation, the amount of, because it was a very short period of time, but otherwise I can say the amount of support, the amount of encouragement what we got from Bangalore, it was really amazing. So we are definitely expecting a very good growth in this next 1 year, and it is my privilege, and we have a very, very fantastic team, and it industry veterans where they have joined us as a team. And let me introduce my team to you. First of all, Mr. BK Prasad. One second.
No, just tell the word each. Madam.
Yes.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Mr. VK Prasad is the Managing Director of Industrial Hydraulic Agency. And if you see, I know him from the, he was the President of Plumbing Association. And he has been, in the industry for several decades and industry with distinction over 40 years. And prior starting to Industrial Hydraulics Agency, VK Prasad served in distinction over a decade in leading engineering companies. And Mr. BK Prasad is actively associated with IPA, FSAI, Fire Safety Association of India, and he's a member of SHARE and IGPC. And a lot of association, he has been this very active, and he is very energetic person. And having him as the vice chairman, we are really proud of you, sir. Welcome on our board. And we have next, I want to introduce Mr. Bipin, who is going to be our chair for our safety vertical. Bipin started his career in 1991, Globe Detective Agency, with a vast experience from the conventional methodology and latest upgrade in safety, security, and BMS solutions. Bipin has been one of the early entrants into the safety and security industry. Since 2014, as an independent service provider, he has built a company, Innovative Technology, with an intent to connect directly with the presence in Bangalore, Hyderabad, and parts of Kerala. Welcome, Mr. Bipin, and you'll be taking care of the chair safety, and welcome to you. Next, I want to introduce Mr. T. Nagaraja, Chair for HVAC. Mr. Nagaraja is the proprietor of Blue Volt Services, Bangalore, with 30 years of experience in the field of HVAC, electrical, and BMS, manufacturing control panels like MCC, PCC, VFD, bypass, EC fan control panels, and sequence panels, electrical and BMS works. And positions he has held a very prestigious organizations. He has got a very big positions like Vice President, Chairman, and all these things. And really, we are proud to have you here, Mr. Nagaraja, as our chair of HVAC. So welcome you, Mr. Nagaraja. So Mr. Panchanathan, chair of sustainability, and he has been very much experienced, like water purification and water optimization for 12 years, and then he has been a very qualified person. Let it be a hydroponic farming or let it be anything related to the water, and this one, he's a person for that. Sustainability expert he is, and he's a Joint Secretary of Rotary Bangalore Udyog and a member of IPA and all these organizations. And welcome, Mr. Panchanathan, Chair for Sustainability. Next, we welcome Mr. Yashwant T. Rajaratnam, and he will be the chair for event management, and he has a career in the IPMS industry. In the year he started his career in 1996. Okay, and with 24 years of experience in this industry, he has done more than 150 odd projects spanning more than 20 million square feet in commercial space, and much experience, and he is involved in training students, consultants, upcoming architects towards the awareness of safety security solutions. And he has started his company called ITQ and has designed tool called GTAG, Guaranteed Technical Acceptance and Compliance. Wonderful, Mr. Yashwant, and very proud to have you with us as a chair for event management. Thank you. Welcome. Next, Ms. Manjula. She is going to be the chair for plumbing, and she has done her civil engineer from RV Engineering College, Bangalore, and management program for women entrepreneurs from IIMB. and she's very, provide innovative engineering solutions in the field of plumbing and firefighting systems. And she's the founder principal consultant of Aditi Building Service Consultants, and established in 2015. But she has got so much of what we can say. She served in honorary technical committee of IPA and was instrumental in developing the following publications. It is really a very, very big achievements, madam. We are really proud to have you for with us as a chair for plumbing. So welcome, Ms. Manjula. And Mr. Bhadresh Shivashankar, chair for IBMS and IT. So he has been a mechanical engineer in MS Ramaya Institute of Technology, and his consultancy he was doing in the field of HVAC and MEP designs, and involved in commercial interior projects on MEP projects, including latest trends of industry like IoT and so many verticals. He has been lighting automation and acoustic study and election, so many things he has worked on that, and he has been a core committee member in quite some associations, and research promotion chair for SHARE. And welcome, Mr. Bhadresh, and we are ready to, we are really proud to have you as a chair for our IBMS and IT vertical. And finally, Mr. Sagiraju Chandrasekhar, and he is going to be the chair for solid waste management. And he has been an engineer from during 1985 and worked more than 15 years in various companies. And if you see his profile, and being an entrepreneur from in the year of 2000, since 2000, by starting a proprietary company in the name of his own company, and then served major industries customer throughout India, Indonesia, Thailand, Kuwait, Philippines, and Saudi Arabia, Tanzania, etc. He was also involved in refurbishment projects and so many other projects like boiler in, and you name the technical industry. He has served a lot. And then, Sapta Innovations Private Limited, he is heading, and authorized person for channel associates in Thermax, and various professional bodies. He has been having a very good position. But really, we are very proud to have you with us for a chair for solid waste management, Mr. Sagiraju Chandrasekhar. So thank you so much for accepting these positions, all of you. And then we are looking forward to do the work. All of us join together, and we are going to have a very great Bangalore chapter. And I thank to Mr. Suresh, National President, and all the team members, and all my participants, those who have joined today, and the associations. And today we have actually very good response from MSME, Additional Director, MSME, and then NSIC. People have also, they have accepted to join today. And all these things, it is happening because of our, really in Karnataka, I can say proudly that anything happens with the government support. And till today, whenever we approach them, we have got whatever we wanted through the association. So what I request is, members, please come forward, join us, join the hand with us, and you also grow yourself, and we will make sure that we are making your business growing. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. Thank you.
All the very best wishes, madam.
Thank you so much.
Dominic, this side, just want to say a few words. There are a few more, we missed out a few names, which they are yet to allocate the portfolio on a vertical lead. So which will be doing it shortly and introduce the few more member in the various vertical. Over to Ravi. Thank you. Unmute Ravi. Ravi, unmute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for this lovely presentation, Ms. Jayalakshmi. I wish you and your team all the very best. Wish them all success in their endeavors. And I hope all that you wish for Focus Bengaluru comes true. And well, wishing once again all of you the very best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I'm not taking the names of each of the members. My apologies, but my best wishes to you. I now, I'm delighted to introduce our guest of honor, architect Naresh Narasimhan. Architect Naresh Narasimhan is a practitioner and a leader with over 34 years of experience in architecture and urban design. He is best known for his association with Venkataramanan Associates, an award-winning architecture firm based out of Bengaluru, which saw a meteoric rise under his leadership. In addition to his architectural practice, architect Naresh Narasimhan's contribution to urban development as an urbanist activist and a creative entrepreneur have been far-reaching. A co-founder of Bengaluru Agenda Task Force, BATF, co-founder of MOD Institute, an international collective of urban designers, researchers, and curators, and founder of Namma Bengaluru, a co-working space and business accelerator. Architect Naresh has fueled a variety of progressive causes in the city. He also regularly advises government agencies on infrastructure development. He studied architecture at the Manipal Institute of Technology, followed by his master's at Harvard Institute of International Development. His interests range from studying the startup ecosystem, open data, and institutional development to cinema, art, and popular culture. Architect Naresh Narasimhan is also a prolific speaker who has been invited to lecture at several national and international events. Naresh Narasimhan is currently architect and managing partner at Venkataramanan Associates, popularly known as VA, since 1985. He's also a permanent trustee at Suchitra Cinema and Cultural Academy, a projects committee member, Bengaluru International Center, co-founder MOD Institute, Bangalore, and founder chairman, Namma Bengaluru. His professional interests are contextualism and architectural theory, urban design and regional planning, information technology and open data infrastructure, sustainable development, financial and economic modeling, cartography and remote sensing, workplace strategy, startup ecosystem, and cinema and theater. I am now welcoming the dashing, intelligent, talented, exceptionally successful architect and a very dear friend, architect Naresh Narasimhan, to deliver his address and make his presentation that we are all so eagerly waiting to watch. Architect Naresh Narasimhan for you. All to you, Mr. Narasimhan.
Thank you, Ravi. That was actually a very long introduction. I didn't realize that where you dug that out from, but that's quite flattering, actually. Anyway, thank you very much. And I'm very pleased to be here today to addressing you all in the launch of the Bangalore chapter of Focus. I, of course, know Mr. Suresh for more than now, I think close to almost, I think, 25 or 30 years when he was heading HUTCO in Bangalore. He actually worked with him many years ago.
3 decades. Yeah, the 3 decades. Very nice.
You have met in Dubai and in other places. I am very happy to be here. My congratulations to Jayalakshmi and her team for getting the Focus chapter off the ground. So without much further, today my interests are now split 50-50. We have completed 50 years as a consulting company, Venkataramanan Associates, this year in November 1st. Unfortunately, during to COVID, we couldn't have a nice party and call all of you, but we'll make up for it somehow next year once the vaccine is in place and things are, we're going to pretend that this year never happened. So, so all of us, I think, we can reduce 1 year off.
Attitude, correct.
Right? So we will do that. And for the past few years, and not few years, more than 20 years, my interest has always been that why is it that we have a constant development and progress in building technology and engineering services for buildings, But the same thing is not available in the public domain. Our roads are still World War II quality. Our drainage systems, I think, go back to Tipu Sultan. And the way we deal with solid waste management, the quality of the external environment of our cities and towns are getting from bad to worse. They're not getting better. What is the reason for this, and what is the point in achieving a 10 on 10 in building quality and in the quality of the kind of engineering services that we provide, and which fail at our compound wall? When many times I go to a 5-star hotel, I can't tell which country I am in. It could be in any part of the world. Sometimes we have better quality than many 5-star hotels I've seen in Western countries. But the moment I step out of the hotel, my leg goes straight into a ditch with flowing sewage, then I start realizing which country I am in. And this is due to a systemic and almost sometimes planned failure of government agencies who think in silos and who do not share data, which every day we come across that a corporation will tar the road in front of your house, and in 24 hours, the water supply board will come and dig it up. Because they have no methodology and no system to talk to each other. And it's this silo-based thinking should be put to an end, and organizations like Focus should also look at how to bring public agencies who deal with the city on a day-to-day basis on one information sharing platform, and the city should work with one dashboard and one map in which everything is integrated. Sounds like a pipe dream, but without much further ado, let me just talk about what I said in a much more graphical sense. I will share my screen now. Just 1 second. Okay. Is my screen visible clearly?
Screen?
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
I was given this topic.
Yes, Mr. Naresh.
Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, Mr. Naresh.
All right. Let me continue. So, I was given this topic to talk about today, and it's now become 50% of my time. And I'm slowly, Mr. Gaurav has just left the meeting. I'm working very closely with him and his team also on Bangalore's infrastructure now. We're doing many projects which the Chief Minister, I will show you a sample today. The Chief Minister of Karnataka will announce these projects on these Thursday. And they're being headed by Gaurav ji, particularly, and many others in government. So when I say the word city infrastructure, usually people only think of the top right image, right? Which is something to do with flyovers and transport mobility. Or maybe the picture on the bottom left, let's build one giant bridge or a big flyover or a hanging bridge, as we call it. But nobody ever talks about things like the top left image is the picture of city market in Bangalore. Are markets public infrastructure? Yes. When I go to the bottom right, are lakes and parks public infrastructure? Yes. But why do they not come into the same conversation? Politicians often, and bureaucrats to a large extent, conflate the word development with building more and more flyovers and maybe, more and more infrastructure for cars. We never talk about infrastructure for people. And somehow all these places tend to start deteriorating and falling apart and getting polluted and getting taken over by vested interests once they fall apart. Because we don't do that, the picture on the top right is what I call the Panchabhuta image. The Panchabhutas are Jala, the air, water, space. You know about Panchabhutas, the Panchatattvas of Hindu philosophy. Is that this is the picture of Bellandur Lake in Bangalore, which is a very famous lake in the world because every few months it catches fire, right? And you can see in one image everything, whether it's housing, whether it's the air quality, whether it's water going apart. Every single aspect of our lives outside our homes is starting to, this is what we see every day. The bottom right is the overflow from Bellandur tank, which is full of phosphates It looks like a glacier, except when you notice the pigs in the foreground eating garbage. This is all foam from chemical pollution. Our traffic situation is going from bad to worse, and our solid waste management, they are unable to get out of the mafia, which controls and does not allow segregation and incineration of waste, and instead creates these unsanitary landfills all over the place. Right? And simply the infrastructure has got overwhelmed because there are too many people, too many problems, and not enough of us in engineering and architects getting involved in the public domain. Right? Let's look at India as a whole and not just focus on one place. Right now, India, can you believe that out of 1.3 billion, only 377 million are living in urban areas as of today. And if you consider the census town classification as per the Census Board of India, about 568, they consider any place with 5,000 people as a urban settlement. 568 million people live in this country. And you can see by the light map of India, you will see that most of the number of cities are not very, very many. 1, 2, 3, this is Bangalore, Chennai, Calcutta. And by analyzing the light intensity, you notice that electricity, fortunately, is now everywhere. But you notice that the big light points are not very many. When I say a number like that, nobody understands 568 million. When I say 10 lakh people move into urban centers every month of the year, and this is going to, that means by 2050, the share of population in India will go close to something like close to 1 billion people, 800 million. Where are these people going to stay? All our cities are overwhelmed already. And where are they going to go? And if you look at, this is again data from the census of India. The bottommost statistic is most important. A city of about 4 to 5 million people is able to provide financing, is able to provide capacity, it is able to provide healthcare, it is able to provide education as well as employment. And roughly there are only 8 cities like that in the whole country. Right? And so it is India's greatest challenge, and it is also India's greatest opportunity to understand how to urbanize India and make sure that all the aspects that are shown here are kept in relative balance. Right? How does India do it right now? Right now, we have a problem-solving approach to infrastructure. We see a problem and then throw money and schemes at the problem. And they have all these unpronounceable anagrams, which all of you must have gone through. And, we keep hearing of this, but we don't see any action on the ground. And many of these start and end without much, actual impact anywhere. There are many more than this. There is, of course, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, but our cities still seem very dirty. There is a clean air program, but every year people in Delhi seem to be choking to death. Namami Gange, we've been hearing about this for a long time, but there seems to be pollution going on in the Ganga. So my point is this problem-solving approach should stop. Right? Goes on like every now and then one announcement comes from this government like this, let's do this, let's do that. The intentions are good, but somehow the outcomes are not. Right? Why does this happen? I mentioned this earlier. We are, as an Indians, we tend to think in silos. Instead of looking at the larger issues of what is the urban fabric, what is the metric we want for the environment, and how is an economy which is sustainable, which can support that, we keep looking at separate aspects. We build flyovers, we say, whether we rejuvenate urban bodies, each one does not think that it is connected to everybody else. But the city is just like our human body. If you get a problem in one part of your body, the rest of your body will respond completely, and it does not work to isolate the problem. Right? A city like Bangalore, all these images are from one city, and you can see how diverse the city looks. At the bottom right, you will find aging old areas which have not seen any upgrade. On the left, you find top left, you find what is probably the best airport in India. probably one of the best airports in the world, and etc., etc. So everybody has a vision of their own, right? And if you look at the governance structure of Bangalore city, just the larger Bangalore area, everybody has a local planning authority separate to themselves. All this is part of one city, the larger Bangalore metropolitan zone. And you find that there is no institutional mechanism. Mr. Suresh, of course, would know about the 74th and 75th Amendment, which was passed by one of our great friends who is no longer with us, who mandates that should be a master planning committee which coordinates the activity of all these people. But unfortunately, the MPC has been constituted but is dysfunctional.
Metropolitan Planning Committee.
Yes, sir. Metropolitan Planning Committee, according to the 74th, 75th Amendment. You notice just, if I just take 4 agencies of Bangalore, which we interact with every day, the BBMP, which is the corporation, the BDA, which is the planning authority, the BWSSB, which is the water and sewage supply, the BESCOM, which is the electricity board, every single one has a different map of Bangalore. At even the starting point, something is wrong. Everybody thinks Bangalore is some other shape than from each other. You have, because of this, you have a lot of cross-jurisdictional bound problems. I cannot understand why all agencies dealing with Bangalore or for any other Indian city for that matter work off a single map, which is agreed, which is GIS enabled, technology enabled map, which says this is the boundary. All of us are in the same boat, right? If you look at I'm most familiar with Bangalore, so forgive me. And since this is the launch of the Bangalore chapter, forgive me for talking more about Bangalore, but you can replace this with any city and you'll just change the anagrams. The inner circle has all dealing with it on a daily basis. The in-between circle influences policy as well as the project implementers. And the outermost circle are the global and national agencies, which also have a finger in anything that goes on within the city. And each one has a separate data silo, and there is no common dashboard for all of them. So this is the kind, R.K. Lakshman pointed this out in 1978 with a cartoon like this, which says that, the man on the street, he repairs one pothole, but he does not have permission to replace the pothole next to it, because there's no, that pothole is made by somebody else and this pothole is made by somebody else. And this results in a vicious cycle in government. Any project is started, there are multiple authorities with individual agendas. There is, of course, the tragic bane of what we call the L1 method of employing people. The lowest tender is good for a contract, but the lowest method is the L1 tender is not good to employ professionals. Because if you go and employ, as you know the old saying, if you go and employ the cheapest possible person, or to put it more crudely, if you employ monkey, you will get only peanut at the end of the day. And accountability is nil. Existing, everybody knows the vision presented is what in the upper part of the image. The sad reality of India is what is on the bottom, right? And this utopian vision is shown. Information and data, we have no idea what is above the ground, and we have almost no idea what is below. I will show you some slides what I mean. Below our legs, our patal log, there is no map at all. Nobody knows what is below. Nobody knows where are the cables. Nobody knows where are the pipes. Nobody knows nothing, right? And then they do it and it breaks apart. And there's no lack of vision. And then, of course, the greatest challenge is even if it is built, no maintenance, service quality degrades, and we go back to square one. Our challenge as engineers and architects and professionals should be to change that word vicious to a virtuous cycle. We have to stop thinking like this and say, how do we make this cycle a virtuous cycle rather than a vicious cycle? You see, there is a what I call the event management approach to city infrastructure. Every time there is a problem, there is a crisis, there is a knee-jerk reaction and somebody says ban construction of apartments for 5 years. What are we all going to do then if they ban like this? One agency gets money to do something, pushes it to somewhere else. Then agency which is supposed to do highways is now building 8 high-density corridors inside the city. That they have been given road projects inside the city. And there is this mad rush to build flyovers forgetting that they destroy and tear city fabric like no other piece of city infrastructure. This is what is going to happen to our cities if you go on thinking like this. We keep building flyovers saying we need to build a center. The center itself will disappear and only roads will be left. Right? This is the vision of Bangalore according to the master plan of Bangalore. The population right now is 1.2 crore. They think in 10 years from, by another 10 years from now, it will double to 2.4. The area of the city remains the same, right? The current GDP of the city is about $70 billion. They're saying in 10 years, it will go up 4 times to almost $300 billion. The built-up area is going up like crazy. The mobility, the private vehicle population is climbing. The share of public transport in transit is decreasing, and the water shortage is the most shocking thing, that we are sanctioned only 21 TMC feet of water by the tribunal. The demand will be close to 51 TMC. Where is it going to come from? Right? And right now, the current master planning culture is, they show maps like this with nice color schemes, and this is the law it follows. But what happens is that it is a static kind of master planning which is completely out of date. We have to change the master planning culture of India into what I call a space syntax oriented dynamic plan, which is able to change every 3-4 years and not get stuck with master plans which get stuck for 10 years, 15 years at a time, and correctly combine it with an economic and investment planning logic that keeps the city and develop other cities. Hello? We will stop focusing on the big metros and start developing cities in the hinterland and in the other parts of the state to be able to provide an effective counter magnet for the city of Bangalore. Right? I have been advocating for a long time. This is the plan of Bangalore and how it's broken up into wards, that a lot of the things on the left should not become a top-down, it should be decentralized and left to the ward. We have to have a vision saying whatever enters the ward cannot leave the ward. All garbage, whether it is liquid or it is solid, should be contained within a ward, and stop this thinking of taking it and throwing it in some village and destroying some villagers' livelihood by polluting their water, and the villages should not become the dump yard of the city. Right? And I've also been following now the presence of technology in infrastructure. There is not too much yet. There is one of the biggest opportunities in India. All these areas can benefit from a startup culture and a new way of thinking about how to think of a decentralized city. Right? The idea of also going back to the idea of a neighborhood, where we can decide whether it's high density or lower density. But all these aspects must be handled at a decentralized level and not given to a large agency. And but to stop doing large projects rather than that, to focus on how to design the city from the neighborhood outwards rather than from the boundary inwards. Right? This is now what is happening to, if you centralize solid waste management, all these places that you see around the city, it destroys an entire area around them. The impact area of leachate, the impact area of bad quality garbage is just outsourced. This should not be allowed to happen. Instead, if you look at the ward level infrastructure for garbage, we mapped all the garbage dumps in Bangalore, and this is how many are there all over the city. They should be handled then and there. And now we have corporation, of course, is starting to work with us now, and we are starting to decentralize, segregate the garbage where it is generated itself, instead of carrying it all over the place to the edge of the city. We are also promoting projects where garbage is incinerated and power generated where it is generated itself. And now one new development that has happened, the Bangalore Yedur Lake is now going to go off grid and completely generate its own power to look after itself. Right? We have also worked with the government on see how geology, and we are drawing almost 700, 800 million liters of water from the aquifers every day in government in Bangalore. And we are saying that this is not sustainable. So we have started looking at the ecosystem. This is what I mean, that nobody knows what is below the ground. And we have to start understanding that below the ground is also responsible for what is above the ground. A great example of decentralized management in Bangalore, one of the few cities in the world which has shown a very consistent decline in cases, is fundamentally, I believe, due to how they quickly decentralized and localized disaster management in Bangalore city, across the city, and made sure that what was one of the highest incidences. So it is possible to do it. If you can do it for COVID, you can do it for sewage. You can do it for garbage. We are also looking at, Bangalore now has one of the best last mile connectivity. We have now bike sharing, we have vehicle sharing. Also now we are creating a lot of the cycle lanes, completely separated from the main traffic by strong medians for both for footpaths and for two-wheelers, non-motorized transport. And we have now also, we've got a lot of, our Bangalore City Police is one of the most, forward-thinking organizations. And they have a whole series of things on women and safety in Bangalore. And Bangalore's incidence of alcoholism as well as crimes against women has gone down dramatically. Right? We also now notice that all over India now, financial accessibility to goods and services are going more and more digital. Infrastructure policy of Karnataka is one of the most, Bangalore particularly, we have now developed what is called the project Tender Sure. It means SURE stands for, making sure that a specification is actually carried out, what is written in the document is carried out on the ground and no compromise is made. And the footpaths in Bangalore sometimes are wider than the roads, which is, according to me, a correct thing. You cannot keep on widening roads. Somebody told me once that, trying to solve traffic congestion by widening roads is like trying to cure obesity by loosening your belt. That's never going to, that is never going to work. No? And now we have seen with COVID that, people don't need to actually travel at all. The rise of technology, the availability of broadband, the availability of connectivity has now created saying that what is called the transurban, which is like, it's a city is not just local. We can be anywhere. And it's a city is more an urban field, is a collection of activities instead of just a material structure. And the idea of what I have coined this term called transurbanism, which says that, you can be anywhere in the world today. And funnily enough, in the last 6 months, I have attended more seminars with really important international speakers who would have never come down in the real world, flown down to talk to us. I have seen speakers from Mr. Noam Chomsky to, the leading lights of the world thinkers, all come on Zoom calls. And somehow that is a fantastic thing which has happened. We've started mapping the employment. A city infrastructure is no use if there is no economy to support it. So we are starting to find that we need to, everybody thinks Bangalore is only IT, but Bangalore is also a leader in biotechnology. It's now an emergent leader in aerospace. It has an automotive manufacturing base. It is one of the biggest textile garment export industries. And of course, even in hardware and electronics. So we are now starting to map the city to find out where is the employment generation of the city and what should it do to make the city grow in terms of what should the city do in terms of infrastructure to support it, right? And now mapping one on the other, they are now starting to find out which are the new urban zones and starting to provide urban infrastructure in those areas which are on the outside of the city. A project which I did last year as an example is a development. This is a street in Bangalore, which many people think, many people think it's somewhere in Europe. It's that quality of street. And you notice that, it is possible to do a street like this in the city. There is not a single obstruction. The footpath through and through, the carriageway is separated completely. And all the, what you see here is 5%, 95% is below the ground. The infrastructure is laid in such a way that you don't have to ever dig this street for the next 50 years. I'll take a guarantee on that. Right? When I dug this street, this is the Patal Lok of India. This is infrastructure. And on the left, you can see that cable right on top. That is the information superhighway, the fiber optic cable. And it is living coexisting with sewage, which is flowing in the same ditch. There were 30 cables, electric cables, water lines, sewage lines.
Very nice.
This is what we think, and we don't pay attention to it because it is under our. When we dug the street, we estimated this project at a certain amount, thinking we'll be able to relocate all this into a duct on either side. I one look at this and I said, forget it. This is impossible. Let's cut it. So future archaeologists will wonder why there are so many cables going nowhere. I cut everything, and what I replaced it with is a diagram like this on the left, which has ducts. In India, we always make a mistake by putting the stormwater drain next to the building edge. It's a fundamental error of engineering design. The stormwater drain must also come at the edge of the carriageway. It must never come at. If you do that, then if all the stormwater comes here, you find that the carriageway, then you can put all the cables in ducts and with access chambers everywhere, so that it's easily accessible. And the cable also, the duct has extra space to add extra interest. The FSI, what we did was we calculated the FSI of the street is double what it is today, and said that design it for that infrastructure, and so that nothing will ever get removed again. And I am not an engineer, I am an architect, but today my office people call me, they call me drain brain, because I have now learned how to design a drain in public, the opposite of brain drain. This is what the street looked like. This photo is at 6 o'clock in the morning. And unfortunately, in a presentation, I can't tell you how it smells. But let me tell you, the sewage is overflowing, stinking road 3 years ago. And exactly from the same place, look at it today.
Wow.
2 years to plan and 1 year to execute, right? And it costs a lot of money. But my point is, if you spend money well in India, not one person has complained that the project is excessively costly. And we've also now working with the city of Bangalore. I won't blow my own trumpet anymore, but with Gaurav and the government of Karnataka, which will be announced on this Thursday, you will find that this is the storm. I've been looking at the stormwater drain system of Bangalore. Bangalore gets 800 millimeter of rain. I mentioned earlier that the Kaveri gives us 22 TMC feet of water. If I calculate 900 millimeter of rain into TMC feet, from the sky we get 18 TMC feet of water, and all of it mixes with sewage and goes to Tamil Nadu. And the Tamil Nadu farmers are growing crops with sewage and selling it back to Bangalore. All poisoned sopu, what we call kirai. And I cannot understand why we cannot retain this water within the city. Bangalore has no water problem. Bangalore does not have a water problem. Bangalore has a water management problem. And focus groups like Focus, if you are all interested in public infrastructure, I'm very sad to say that I'm not able to find consultants who understand what to do beyond the site edge and how to design for city infrastructure. The quality of consultants are my right arm and my left arm, right? All of you, without you, we cannot do even a building. But why is it that there is no good quality consultants for public infrastructure? Mr. Suresh, sir, I would particularly request you to form a working committee to understand, to create a consultant base who understand how to do drains, roads, flyovers, traffic, solid waste. How do you deal with management of city infrastructure? We should form a focus group in Focus on nationwide to study this problem. I noticed Mr. Ashish Rakeja is also on the panel. One of his company. Are you with Mr. I assume he was with AECOM. I'm not sure whether he's with them anymore. But companies like international quality companies like that are sitting in India. Bangalore has 30,000 employees working for the top 5 engineering companies of the world. W.S. Atkins, Arcadis, AECOM, like this, names like this, Jacobs, Mott McDonald, everybody has an office in Bangalore. 30,000 engineers are working for other global cities. Not one of them is involved in the infrastructure of the city itself, where it gives them their life, their economy, their education for their children and their livelihood, which is a tragedy, right? So we have taken a project which looks insoluble. This is every city in India, right? I don't want to say which one. This is a stormwater drain which has got sewage. For some reason, somebody has thought fit to put sewage pipe under the stormwater drain. So the moment, without that itself, there is sewage. If there is a heavy rain, it comes till here. The sewage comes back into the drain, and the whole thing is a stinking, what I call the backyard of Bangalore. And the worst location. So I have taken a 10-kilometer pilot stretch. We have 800 kilometers like this in Bangalore. Bangalore is the largest city in the world, not next to a water body. It is the largest. It is not next to any natural feature. And what I am saying is 800 kilometers, I told the government, let me make a waterfront for Bangalore. And we don't have a waterfront like Chennai has beach. We don't have one. We want a waterfront. So I have created now a vision which will be announced on Thursday. The focus group now will be the first one to see it. Please don't publicize it till Thursday when the Chief Minister will formally announce it. It's called the K100 train. This is what it looks like right now. And then I'm done with it in 1 year from today. It will look like that with fresh water, and it will become a walkway from Bellandur tank all the way to City Market in Bangalore. The government has sanctioned this project, and I'm just going to make it into a walkway and tomorrow it is filed in the National Green Tribunal, and I hope they will grant us permission. The moment it is done, we will see a walkway like this all through the city. And if this works, Bangalore will get an 800-kilometer long waterfront. And in Madras, for instance, in Chennai, I think Kuam you have been trying for a long time. Adyar you have been trying for a long time. I hope that this project is even now supported by the Prime Minister of India, and we are getting a lot of attention now. You'll see a lot of announcements on this Friday in the media. This is what the drain looks like further down, when it is becoming almost about 50 feet wide, full of sewage. I've removed almost, now the sewage is going to go very shortly. We have now created underground sewage pipes to take all this out, and it will look like that. And see, this is urban vision. So the moment you have so I can show you how dramatic the change will be. It will become like that, and like a ghat, and the water in the middle is fresh, treated, secondary quality water with a sewage treatment plant. What I said was, why do we take sewage all the way 30 kilometers outside? I have put the sewage treatment plant in the middle of a ward, and on the top of it, I made it into a park. You'll see it now. Why do they have to look so bad? Why my architectural buildings look fantastic? If somebody gives me a sewage treatment plant, I will show you how to make it look fantastic. Why do they always look very poor, right? So I would like to end my presentation with a small statement. One of the greatest engineers I admire as one of my role models was a man named Buckminster Fuller, who made the statement saying, pollution is nothing but the resources that we have not harvested, and we allow them to disperse because we are ignorant of their value. I will paraphrase it by saying, there is money in pollution. Let us now try to create an ecosystem to use pollution as a resource rather than as a problem. Thank you very much. I'll stop here, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Ravi, unmute, please. Ravi, unmute.
I'm very sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Naresh Narasimhan. That was a wonderful What an eye-opener. I want nobody other than Mr. Suresh.
Sir, since you made mention...
Mr. Suresh, you have to unmute
Mr. Suresh,
yourself.
your comments.
I'm coming. Now I'm speaking. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, Ravi. you really brought out a lot of interesting point and not only within the buildings but also outside the building in a large way. And am I there?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're there.
Yeah.
Please go on, sir.
Yeah, in a large way. And actually, he has brought in is a great opportunity in areas where you can work on. And I like this component of the Patal Log word that he talked about. Can we have Narasimhan on the screen also? Can we get him on the screen? Because I think we only Ravi on the screen now. Can we also get him so I can speak to him?
I'm here, sir.
Oh, you're there. Wonderful, sir. So I like that particular thing. Anything that below the ground, nobody knows. One of the biggest thing is all the infrastructure utilities that are below the ground. Just like all the utilities which are inside the building, which we deal with as within the building, is the other component which is coming over there. And there's got a space. They say that if there's a place for everything, everything will be in its place. So you won't have the problem of the road flow coming, of the tar is completed to break open. So all your underground buried utilities, all the new ones are providing space for each of them. And that's a very major component on which we can work on. And this is where the coordination and integration has got to be there. And you rightly said, nobody really knows what is below the ground, where what line is going on, because there is no sketch available or drawing available. Different utility providers have provided those different points of time. They have done it. At which XYZ location, you'll have what you would know only when you dig and go there, you might be able to find that. The very important area we will definitely work on this sector. Focus will really get into this particular component of not only all the critical utility service within the building, but all the critical utility service outside the building, equally important. And in the neighborhood, I use the word built environment. Building to the built environment is where we got to graduate ourselves into and not leave it only with the four walls of a building alone. We will definitely work on this particular thing, and you're given an excellent suggestion to that. I also a lot of idea. My good friend Ashish is also there. So many of our good friends are there hearing what all you have said there. And I also like the way you are transforming the whole Nala component into a wonderful waterway. The best thing I can remember in our own lifetime that we have seen is the Sabarmati River front, how you have translated that. And also, just like the Church Street that you have done, similarly are some of those particular wonderful streets in Ahmedabad also they are done. So therefore, transformation can take place in a very large way. And I'm very happy that you elevated the whole topic in this chapter launch into something beyond what normally has been the confines of a few items to be put in the building over there. But in our own particular vision, we already said built environment, and built environment is building and the infrastructure around that. So it's not building alone. And therefore, we will definitely work in this particular one, and we'll associate you. We'll bring you onto the main forum of the focus to be one of our particular. And I like this word that you had of instead of brain drain going from here, brain is available here, and all our best thinkers and technologies and architects or engineers or scientists or everybody going out over there. Now you have found solutions for most of the problems here. And I'm happy that you are identifying most of this particular thing. I was just telling Ravi, he missed out that. See, you're a good combination of not only an architect, you're also urban designer. See, urban design is a three-dimensional master planning. Very rarely, it's not a two-dimensional master planning of colors and land use zones being provided, but you have volumetric massing of the whole thing above and below. When you have that, that's a concept that has brought the problem where you don't see beauty in all those infrastructure also in a large way. I'm deeply impressed for his wonderful presentation. I'm sure I would like to take this to a larger forum of the focus. There's only the Bangalore chapter group there, the national. When you bring we'll have the development council coming, where all the 21 vertical people along with our members of the governing council meet over there. I would like you to address on this particular, and in short, which tells all the utility services critical, not only within the building, but also outside and the infrastructure outside there. And then how do you deal with that? Focus has an important role to play in that. And therefore, otherwise you'll get into the same amount of problem. And this transformation that you have planned over there, whether the solid waste management, use the wonderful word Buckminster Fuel. My own word is waste to wealth, refuse to resource, trash to cash. So how do we convert all those problem areas into solution areas? And they're all wonderful areas we can pick up on. And we are very grateful that we have been able to have you to give the keynote address in this wonderful evening. I'm deeply impressed and I'm indebted, and I'm very happy that you brought in so many new dimensions. I wish you all the best for the great event to take place on the Thursday when the Honorable Chief Minister would be working. As a matter of fact, he was the chief guest of the municipality event which happened in February 2020, which I deal at the Good Governance India Foundation. And he himself was having a lot of vision. He talked of how you can transform Bangalore as a city with a lot of attraction areas where we think you are really identified, you're visually what we should work on. Each
So we have a network problem, I think.
I think Ashish Rakeja is there. I think we should have Mr. Ashish Rakeja, say a few words after having seen Mr. Naresh Narasimhan's presentation.
Ravi, only one problem. I have another for Zoom call with the chief.
Yeah, no,
5 minutes. So I'll have to drop off the call any minute now if I get the other call.
So okay, sir. Okay. Ashish, quickly, a couple of words from you.
Let me say goodbye and thank you at this point. I might have to leave at any point as soon as we have a call with the Chief Minister's office to plan the event on 17th.
Perfectly all right, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Ashish, very quickly, a couple of words from you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Narasimhan, since he has to leave. Wonderful presentation. I can tell you, I echo what in terms of your Patallok vision. I think that was amazing. The way you put across what you conceptualize is quite amazing. I think this is the kind of ideas that we need for focus. The launch today of the Focus Bangalore chapter, Madam Jayalakshmi Ji, I don't think you could have found a better leader to lead this activity. A right focus with Gaurav Gupta Ji coming and talking about the vision, and the way he said that we need one body to come and approach them for the critical utilities front, because this is the way the government will like to deal with, and that'll be the best way to coordinate. I think focus is rightly placed under your leadership to look after that for the Bangalore region. Then we had your office bearers. I think that's again, each one of them is a gem in their own area. I know a lot of them. I know quite a lot of them. Have worked with them in past, and I think the start that we had to the day is what we're looking for. So, in fact, Bangalore is going to be our seed for the remaining chapters. What we are looking at chapters, the other regions in the country to be formed. We are going to look up to Bangalore to lead the way, because you being the first chapter of our society. And congratulations and wish you all the best. And thank you for the leadership that Sureshta provides to our organization. And great anchoring, Ravi. I think there are a lot of comments which are coming for you also on this, on the chat box. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. That was Mrs. Ashish Rakeja, Vice President, Forum of Critical Utility Services from Delhi. Thank you, Ashish, for joining. Thank you very much for encouraging the team.
Yeah.
I now have the opportunity to introduce our General Secretary. I'm delighted to introduce my very good friend and a person who carries the responsibilities of running the day-to-day operations of Focus at the national level. He is none other than our General Secretary, Sri A.L. Narasimhan. Sri A.L. Narasimhan is the Vice President, Strategic Business Alliances, Prama Hikvision, India Private Limited. In his current role, he is developing the strategic business alliances for the company with the government organizations and industry bodies. He has vast experience spanning over 37 years in handling the government agencies and public sector undertakings. He is known in the industry for excellence in project management and business development. He has implemented many successful projects in the government verticals. In his extensive career in the security products and systems business, he has set many new benchmarks in project management. He is well known in the industry for his contribution to many successful projects. He has served the senior management positions with some of the leading organizations in India. Sri A.L. Narasimhan is a very simple and a humble person. He is an indomitable strength, not just to his organization, High Vision, but a great strength to us at Focus. His organization and its MD, Sri Ashish Dhakkanji, are also a rock-solid foundation of the Forum of Critical Utility Services. This forum shall always stay in debt for the support of Sri Ashish Dhakkanji. May I now request my friend Sri A.L. Narasimhanji, the General Secretary of the Forum of Critical Utility Services, to deliver his address.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi Shankar, and good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure talking to all of you. It's a very special day. Voice. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Better.
Okay.
Better.
It's a very special day as the first chapter of Focus is being inaugurated in Bangalore. My hearty congratulations to the chairperson, Mrs. Jayalakshmi Venkat Narayanan, Vice Chairman Mr. B.K. Prasad, and all the vibrant members of the Bangalore Focus team. As you all know, Focus was founded by 14 passionate leaders of the building industry. With the concept of resilient buildings gaining momentum across the world, there was a need for an integrated platform where professionals from all areas can come together and interact. Thus, Focus was formed by these 14 founding members to fulfill and the dream has come true today with the formation of the first chapter in Bangalore. Professional experts from the critical utility services sectors have joined Focus as heads of the 21 vertical committees to spearhead the vision and mission of Focus. Similarly, large number of fraternal associations have joined to support in its endeavor. I am happy to inform you that in the short span of 45 days since its launch on 26th October 20, we have confirmation of support from 14 major societies. I'll name all of them. They are International Facility Management Association, Asian Professional Security Association, APSA, National Association of Fire Officers, NAFO, Federation of Indian Elevator Companies, FIEC, National Institute of Security, Safety Management and Applied Technology, NISMAT, India Building Information Modeling Association, IBIMA, Elevator and Escalator Component Manufacturers Association of India, EECMAI, the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, IFPMO, IAPMO, the National Real Estate Development Council, NAREDCO, Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, ACCE, Indian Institute of Architects, IIA, Consortium of Accredited Healthcare Organization, CAHO, Academics with Excellence Spectrum of Maintenance Engineers, AWESOME, and Indian Green Building Council, IGBC. Many more are expected to join shortly. Moving ahead, we have plans to launch new chapters very soon in Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, and Pune. Our President, Mr. V. Suresh's vision is to launch 51 chapters by the end of 2021. On the administrative front, we have completed all legal formalities related with the functioning of the society and the registration of GST, etc. Altogether, we are marching on the road to success, and with the support from each one of you, we aim to be a premier organization in the critical utility services sector. My congratulations and best wishes to each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Narasimhan, for your encouragement and promise of support to Focus Bengaluru at every step of their way to growth, recognition, and success for the industry. Thank you very much. Now, may I call upon Mr. B.K. Prasad, Vice Chairman, Focus Bengaluru, to deliver the vote of thanks. Mr. B.K. Prasad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank our National President, Mr. V. Suresh, for his opening remarks, which set the tone for today's meeting for the launch of the Bangalore chapter of Focus. Well, thanks for his address with so much josh. The day it really took off. Thank you, sir. I thank Mrs. Jayalakshmi Venkatnarayan, our chairman of Focus Bangalore chapter, who outlined the aim of Focus with the different verticals. Thank you, ma'am. Also, she did present all the office bearers, including me, BK Prasad as the vice chair, and the other heads who will be heading it. Thank you, ma'am. I thank the chief guest, Mr. Gaurav Gupta, IAS, Principal Secretary Government of Karnataka, in charge of BBMP, for his address wherein he assured support to professional organizations like us. He did speak about a single window clearance for builders and reduce compliance requirements, and also remove redundant rules and regulations. Thank you very much, sir. That is the need of the hour. I thank the guest of honor, architect Naresh Narasimhan, who spoke on the challenges of infrastructure. Mr. Naresh Narasimhan, he is one of the well-known faces in Bangalore, and the way he touched upon the integrated management instead of silo-based system was simply awesome. And the plans he has for Bangalore, well, we can come back to a garden city instead of the garbage city. I thank all the national representatives present here, Mr. Ashish Rakeja, Mr. Narasimhan, Mr. Ravi Shankar, and Mr. Dominic. I thank also the members of MSME and NSIC. I thank the founder, Techspert. I thank the Women Association members, Karnataka IT Association. Most of all, I thank all the members of Focus of the Bangalore chapter who made this function a very enjoyable experience. In fact, and also we would like to welcome all the visitors who had come here to become members of our organization so that we can take this to a higher vision. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Mr. BK Prasad. With that, we come to the end of this program. I thank one and all for their participation. Thank you. A very special thanks to all those people who registered and were part of this launch of Focus Bengaluru. Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prasad.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. You brought in so much joy.